Welcome back to the BSH Brief. I'm your host, Caden Friess, and today we're joined by someone who's not just leading the school, he's helping build its future, literally. From the biggest transformation Ben High has seen yet, it's our very own principal, Mr. Reese. Wonderful. And then we have two student guests helping us out today. Can you two introduce yourselves?
Yeah, I'm Taj Erickson.
I'm Wyatt Holmberg.
Okay. Wonderful. Pleasure to have you all. Thank you. Mr. Reese. This is a very big episode. Not only senior class president, but principal of Ben Senior High School. This is very exciting.
I'm excited to be here, and I'm just a little bit disappointed. I'm episode 7 and not episode 1.
I know. Quinn Claire beat you to it. But hey, I feel like we're more practiced, and it's going to be a really smooth ride, hopefully, is what I'm hoping for.
I love it. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So I always like to jump in by getting to know our teacher faculty a little bit better. We want to know about you, Mr. Reese, whether it's your family, your past education, just a little bit about who you are as a person.
Oh, wow. Where do I start? I was born in Vicksburg, Mississippi, and we moved to Oregon when I was 4 years of age. We settled in the Valley, and I graduated from Hillsborough High School in 1991, and then I did 2 terms at Oregon State and then finished my education and playing football at Western Oregon University, and finished my Bachelor of Science there. And then I got my first job at Rex Putnam High School, and I was teaching and coaching at the time. I taught science, all different types of science, biology, chemistry, and physics. My favorite to teach was probably AP Physics. And I also was the head wrestling coach at Putnam and coached football. And then I had an opportunity to get my master's and also earn my administrative license. And I wasn't ready to use it at the time. I still loved the classroom. Absolutely loved working with students. Still loved the coaching aspect. Had a great wrestling team coming back. And an opportunity presented itself at Ben Senior High School back 21 years ago. And this is my 21st year at Ben High. Wow. Love this place. Love everything that it stands for. Bleed blue and gold. And, I spent 10 years as the assistant principal here, and then I had an opportunity, and this is my 11th year as a principal.
That's awesome. That's incredible.
That's really...
And then your wife also works in the building.
She does. Yeah.
How is that? What's that relationship working like?
Hey, it's absolutely amazing. It's kind of like the Larwins, kind of like the Coopers, kind of to be able to work in a building with your spouse. We keep things professional.
Of course.
And separate that from the personal. At the same time, it's nice seeing around the building.
Oh, totally. Do you guys carpool?
No. We drive separately. I've got a lot of construction meetings I have to go to. So
I feel like most people don't even know that you guys, every time like in TOK, we talked about married couples, and half of the class was shocked that you guys were married.
Yeah, and we like it that way.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's really good. And
I still have, I'm the oldest of 3 boys in our family. I've got 2 brothers, Adam and Caleb. My dad still lives in the Valley on the property that we grew up on. He owns a vineyard over there, and my dad had a pretty exciting job growing up and watching him. He was an environmental specialist cleanup. He participated in the cleanup in Mount St. Helens, the oil spill in Alaska, Mount Pinatubo in the Philippines. So that's where I got my love for science, and that's why I decided to teach.
That's
cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So cool.
It's a pretty unbelievable story. All right, well, Taj, you are a senior class president. Yes. That is also a pretty big position. What is that like? What are some of the roles and responsibilities you've fulfilled throughout the year? I feel like a lot of people don't actually know what comes with the title.
Yeah, I feel like all throughout student government, I've been pretty involved in leadership and stuff. So I've definitely learned from upperclassmen, and I've gotten into a lot of leadership positions. So I feel like just furthering those leaderships, I've been able to lead. My main thing has been blood drives. I'm really passionate about leading our blood drives.
Nice.
Trying to help our community. And then assemblies. I've loved assemblies. I think it's just so fun where I get to be creative. And then obviously our BSH pageant. I've been really involved with that over the past 3 years. And I think this year I've just been able to like really get that leadership position And yeah, a lot of more press things with Mr. Reese. I feel like that's come this year, but it's been just like furthering my leadership skills, I guess.
That's awesome. I loved the pageant. It was awesome.
It was so good.
So
Yeah,
Phenomenal.
it was very sweet.
It was one of the best
I
ones
had
I've
so
seen.
much fun. It was so much fun.
And even if it wasn't in our beloved auditorium.
I was going to say, and we make do and we pivot with.
Almost arguably better. I thought it was so fun and getting to adapt. We were all so scared. But then getting to be there in that cool backdrop, I don't know. I just thought it was kind of fun. It made it less formal, and I feel like the guests got to be more like kind of a part of it.
I agree.
Oh yeah, it was a great vibe.
I think we've seen that a lot throughout this year of like how well we've been able to pivot as a school with losing multiple halls and having the like assemblies or class meetings, whether it's in the gym or the commons. Like we've been really able to adapt in this really weird time of the high school experience.
Yeah.
So props. And also what is there a lot that goes into this, a planning, or it's like, we just got to do what we got to do. You know, we have to make it happen one way or another. And so we just kind of push through. Or is there a lot of meticulous planning of like commons, gym? What's that kind of like, having to pivot around not having as many resources as we once did?
Caden, I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
And part of that is just the Ben High way, resilience and facing adversity and that flexibility piece. And, you know, if COVID taught us anything, it was how to pivot and how to be flexible.
Yeah.
At the same time, coming out of COVID and fast forward to where we're at with a Ben High redesign and construction here on our campus, you know, we had to be more resilient than ever. And what I really appreciate about this staff, and especially about this senior class, they set the tone for that idea of culture over construction. And we're not going to let losing an auditorium define who we are as Lava Bears. And, you know, at graduation, during the commencement ceremony, I hope to honor this class the right way in helping set that tone for future generations. Here at the end of the day, in the fall of 2028, when we're going to have a new gymnasium, a new auditorium, a new performing arts center, a new culinary room,
So cool.
new commons with the long blue line in it. You know, the new 3-story building. Obviously, we'll have Robert D. Maxwell. We're going to have a Heroes Plaza. And there's a lot of planning that goes into that. And my life, my lived experience this year has been busy.
I'm sure.
As you can imagine, a lot of time off campus, and my job doesn't stop as the building principal. And but I got a great team around me. I've got a great senior class, and you know, that supports the work that we're doing here. And we've really bought into that idea of long blue line and what it means. And you know, this class in particular epitomizes that.
That's awesome. I think something that really, talking about school spirit in a sense, I think something that really epitomizes it is sports. Why multi-sport athlete, right? Yeah. What I mean, what can you say? I believe Taj, sports as well, track, I think. Soccer, almost. Okay, how do you guys feel that the sports have, whether it's increased your school spirit or just affected your time here at Ben High? What's that look like for you?
I think that sports have been great. You know, I like to stay busy. That's one thing about me. Never try to have open time, so getting out there every day, meeting a lot of people, you know, meeting upperclassmen who I don't think I would get to meet otherwise. It's like really helpful for getting adjusted to the school. And then, like Mr. Reese was saying, with like the group of people that we have, our baseball field was taken down, and then so we had to move to Vinskinna.
Pivoted.
Which it's a beautiful field, but you know, it's not easy to move. And I think the coaches that we have, you know, Mr. Claire and then our senior class, they're just doing a great job of rolling with it.
Awesome.
Yeah. Sports have meant a lot to me. So I'm going to major in communications, but with a minor in sports management.
Nice.
And I just think without Ben High, I really wouldn't be majoring in either of those things. It's really helped me because soccer has been so amazing for me. I've been involved with soccer since the day I was born.
That's awesome.
But like being at Ben High, yeah, meeting upperclassmen, getting like new friends that I never would have had before, but then also getting to go to every sporting event and just being really passionate and rallying all together as one around all of our sports. Like if you ask my dad, I'm not a baseball fan, but I've gone to quite a few baseball games to cheer on my friends. And I just think it's really fun, the culture that we have here and how we all get to support each other with sports.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
That's
and
good.
As a leader of Bend High School, you know, sports have always been an important part of my life. And in high school, I played football and wrestled. And then carried that on into college, playing football at Western Oregon University. I actually played against Matt Craven.
Whoa.
What?
Nice.
Little rivalry action.
Yeah. So we still give each other a hard time. And,
Who won? Who won?
Well,
Oh, no.
let's just leave it at that.
Okay.
We don't need to mention
But
it.
carrying that on into coaching and then taking over as the principal, having that background and that connection, that deep-rooted connection that allows students to, have a sense of belonging and engagement within their community. And a lot of that comes from sports.
Yep.
That's awesome. Speaking kind of on the culture again, it's been a reoccurring theme on the past couple episodes, whether it's teachers or students bring it up, has been mental health. And so this is something I'll just inquire a little bit about. We talked with Mr. Fox about, I'll pitch this at the end of this little blurb, some potential schedule reform, things like the therapy dogs was really cool, having those in. I know Design Justice has put on a mental health week. That's really cool. And one of the things, so it's a two-part question, I guess. One of the things is we talked about, and obviously it's not like, oh, I'm the principal, that's a great idea, let's do that. But like, pretend you're not the principal looking at this schedule-wise. He talked about this idea that he saw in like other schools of a bit more of a flex time, almost what we have with advisory, but it's where you can go to your clubs, go meet with teachers that isn't passing time, maybe even like have some outdoor time to get some fresh air, and just talking about ways that we're trying to think of mental health and think of our day. And so I guess one, schedule-wise, how do you think that has affected mental health? And then also, what are some of the resources here at Ben High that we have mental health-wise that maybe the students don't know about or underutilized that we can like kind of promote here?
Well, let's start with that last piece, Kate.
Yeah.
We have a school-based health center.
Awesome.
In Mosaic, and part of that is where it's currently located. The wayfinding isn't probably the best in regards to that communication, and students can easily find it. But part of the redesign here is to have a separate building that's still on site, but it will be well identified. It'll have its own address and its own parking lot over there. So I'm hopeful that we can get the word out a little bit better about the new school-based health center and at least the new location for it. And there's some resources.
That's really cool.
In there as well. May, Mental Health Awareness Month. I'm all about wellness, and I'm all about balance. And, one of the things is trying to think outside of the box. And just to be perfectly transparent and honest with you, I don't know if the current bell schedule that we're on is the best bell schedule. And there's pros and cons, right? To everything. And part of that's the bell schedule. I taught on a block schedule. I preferred a block. And it's a lot easier to schedule in some of that flex time into a block schedule and not lose those instructional minutes. Teaching science and chemistry, biology, physics, maximizing, especially in AP physics, maximizing those instructional minutes is so important, especially with the high stakes testing that you have coming up. And part of that is just thinking through what does that do to the instructional minutes, yet at the same time, how do we maintain balance, especially with those full diploma IB students that are strapped for time, and just thinking creatively. And one of those is, this idea of flex time. And there's got to be a balance there too. How much is too much?
I was getting taken advantage of, and like you're not being productive anymore. Totally.
Right. So, but I'm all about balance and wellness for our students and our staff.
Yeah,
for sure.
Good answer. I'm guessing curious, what is like the relationship between you two? Like, do you work in tandem a lot on projects and things, or?
Yeah, I think we've gotten to work a lot this year. Veterans Day Assembly was a big one for the two of us. We got to work a lot on that together. And I think we've always talked about different assemblies and events going on and what you kind of want to see out of it. And then I kind of get to convey that message to our student government class and what we kind of want to, like our goal is with different projects. But I think Veterans Assembly was definitely a fun one for us to work together on.
Yeah, I got to be honest with you. Again, in almost 30 years of education, almost 3 decades, a leader like Taj doesn't,
shout out.
Yeah, she's just stepped up and she's done an amazing job. And I attribute a lot of that culture over construction to Taj and these senior leaders. And, you know, it took someone like Taj to step up and help with the groundbreaking and help do, you know, radio broadcast. And then, you know, her relationship with Carly and Carly stepping up with the veterans. And then, you know, Taj helping out and just the different assemblies. And, you know, I'm a big believer, and I always have been, that a school's culture is more important than test scores.
I like that.
And
Nice.
I want kids to have a rich experience. I want families to have a rich experience here as long as I'm principal. And I want those families and students to have that connection and that belonging and that agency within their school community. And that doesn't happen overnight. This is the 117th graduating class of Ben High.
Still pretty unbelievable thing.
117, right? And, you know, think about that concept of the long blue line, and don't let it die on our watch.
Totally agree. All right, I guess I want to ask about your specific administration position. The principal, like, what does it consist of? I know everyone knows, oh, he's the principal, he's in charge. Like, what does that actually mean? I know this year it looks different with mainly leading construction, but as a general whole, what would you say, like, you do in your position, I guess, is generally what I'm asking.
Well, I wear many different hats. And I do not know, I don't even pretend to know what my day is going to entail when I show up to work. And, you know, you just roll with it. And you take it as it comes, and you chip away, and it's a Herculean lift. It really is. There's a lot of moving parts to being a principal of a large comprehensive high school, and I couldn't even, I wouldn't even know where to start. You know, you work with parents, you work with teachers, you work with students, and you know, with a building of, you know, 1,300 students, 200 staff members, you know, we're a small city, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I think the most important thing that I can do in my job is to develop those relationships and show up, be there, you know, and be approachable. And, you know, I understand that I don't have all the answers, and I don't even pretend to think that I do. But by golly, I'm going to work my tail off, and I'm going to, you know, try to find the answers for people and make those decisions. And sometimes those decisions I've got to make like instantaneously, you know, especially with safety protocols and other things. And then other decisions really, you know, have a chance to process it, such as, you know, possibility of some flex time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In your position as well, following up on this, is, I guess I'm curious, is it more like administration of, hey, you guys do this, or no, excuse me, is it more administration of like, this is our new policy, this is how we're going to grade, and like making those decisions? Or is it more like managerial of like, hey, you teachers need to be doing this, of, I guess, is it more managing the people or managing like the curriculum in school, I guess is what I'm asking.
Yeah, you know, you have to be an instructional leader, you know, because that's why we're here, right?
Yeah.
To learn.
To learn. So you have to be an instructional leader. You got to lead with vision and really have that foresight to know what's coming down the pike. And then there's a lot of task management to this position. You know, there's that, hey, you know, district is asking that we implement this policy. Boom, let's go. You know, again, a lot of different hats to this, but you just, again, it all starts with those relationships, and you develop that rapport and that trust with students and families, and you know, and you remain consistent too, and fair, and approachable, and you just have a impeccable work ethic, and that's what you do, and you just show up.
Totally.
Name another principal that gets their head painted or goes in a dunk tank or goes to every sporting event.
Yeah, that was fun, Taj. Not.
We all remember.
Did you see me in the chocolate pudding?
Oh, I did.
I think I got it worse.
I did.
You were committed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So maybe a question for both of you is, well, for one, Taj, I want to know, what is the legacy you want to leave behind here at Ben High? It's kind of a big question, but I feel like it's one as president that is more pertinent to you.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's so hard because we have such an amazing culture. So it's hard to try and leave a mark, but I think different events that I'm really passionate about, I hope we can continue having some of the most successful blood drives in Central Oregon. I think that's something I've been really passionate about. And all of our amazing events, keeping them great, the pageant, hoping to get it better and every single year, but also just showing people that it's cool to have school spirit. I think I've been very open in student sections and assemblies. I think I've really tried to show how passionate I am about this school and just leaving that legacy behind of it's really cool to be passionate about like knowing how cool of a school we have and knowing that we have a great culture with our staff, students, and teachers. And
agreed. I think you being in that position, that's so important because, I mean, think if you go to a football game and your class president is just like sitting down on a bleacher, you're like, oh, well, this is lame. But no, when you're up in the front and you're jumping down, you're chanting, that gets the whole crowd going behind you. So I think that's important. That's amazing. And then why, I guess, like what are the goals over the next 2 years? I mean, you still have a lot more to go through and build, but like what are we trying to accomplish here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. It's been a good 2 years.
Boom.
But, 2 more. I just want to, be open, be out there. Kind of, I mean, both of you have been like, as you guys were saying, getting that school spirit going, being out there, being at every game, being loud. Caden running a podcast and Senior Assassin, like, just get out there and do more.
Yeah.
Do as much as I can and like experiences.
That's the biggest thing I've been telling people is like in this later year, I feel like my last 3 years of high school were a little gray, little mellow, and this year is kind of just go. Just like do as much as possible.
Yes, 100%.
I think that's the biggest piece of advice. Like odds are it's going to work out. Odds are someone will say yes, and just try. And you know what? You're never going to know if you don't try to do it. So.
Mm-hmm. And you've inspired me, Caden. Next year we're going to do Staff Assassin.
Staff Assassin.
That would be awesome.
Go.
We need to see that.
Let's go.
Yes. Well, this episode is also special because I think this is, at least for seniors, this is the last episode that's going to come out before we graduate, on like June 2nd or 1st, whatever the Monday is. So I guess what's the PSA to the seniors before it's too late? What's the word? Your final thing to them?
My final message. Well, this senior class has meant a lot to me for a lot of different reasons. They came in and left a awesome first impression, but more importantly than first impressions or last impressions. And this senior class is finishing strong. They're leaving a great legacy. Part of that long blue line, and I guess my PSA, my message to them is finish strong and don't do anything that would put me in a position to determine whether or not they get a walk at graduation, because I care too much about this senior class, as I do all of our students, and I'm focusing in on the seniors, but please know that, I
still love you.
Yeah, I love our entire student body. But just my message to the senior class, finish strong. Don't do anything between now and graduation that would jeopardize you walking. And don't put me in that position to have to make that decision. So that would be my message.
Yeah. I know one of the things I think is on that list is senior prank, which I know some seniors are bummed about. But do we have like a reason maybe we can give of like to kind of validate why we're not doing the senior prank?
Yeah. No, I'm all about the why. And, when I make a decision, I've got to have a why behind it.
Totally.
And since I've been here, over the course of 2 decades, whether as an assistant principal or my 11th year as a principal, we haven't had a senior prank here. And I always tell the why behind it. No matter how small a senior prank may seem, it still ends up affecting somebody. Whether that's a custodian having to clean up, whether that's, an administrator having to make a decision, whether a student walks or not. It's just, there's a domino effect. And part of it, I don't always think through everything and how it's going to affect. And, again, it's just like decorating. Ben High doesn't decorate our caps. Other schools do. But that's what we do, and that's our tradition here. And part of that is because we're all lava bears, right? And the time to identity, and we're graduating together as a class, and we're unified. And then afterwards, we want parents and families to bring those adornments and take photos afterwards. And that's the time to celebrate your individuality.
Mm-hmm. I like that. Okay. And then maybe just more generally is what are maybe some of our favorite years, or not years, moments from this year? Like literally anything, sporting game, class moment, like what can we highlight from this year? Because it's been a good year. It's been a really good year.
Such a good year, but that's so tough.
It really is to narrow it down, even just like a couple of good ones. You know, it doesn't have to be the all-timer.
Okay, I have one.
Yes.
So soccer this year, I wasn't able to play. I herniated a disc in my back, and it was really upsetting for me, co-captain of the varsity team with my best friend. But they made it to the state championship, and it was like, I was so proud of them. Just being, who cares if we lost? It was seeing them get there, going in as the underdog, beating Caldera in the semifinal game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Going
Energy
from losing to tying to beating them was like, I could not be more proud. And I think it was a really cool moment to reflect back and be proud of like the culture kind of that I've brought with the soccer program over the past 4 years, but still seeing like my leadership position on the bench, like it pays off. And I got to see all my best friends do very well.
That's awesome.
I think for the baseball season this year, football we get, I think, the most attendance. The most students show out for
100%.
football. But from last year to this year, like last week against Mountain View, Friday, walk-off win.
Oh my gosh,
we had
so good.
So many people in the crowd going crazy.
That was awesome.
We were hooting and hollering. That was so good.
I was up in the press
experience.
box because it was cold.
Yeah, but I think just like more and more people showing out, which was just like cool to see. Like a lot of students.
Yeah, similar to soccer too. Like I'd never seen that many people at a soccer game at the Caldera game. We had there was a lot of people there, and getting to like sing the fight song on the field all together, that was like something you never see at a soccer game. And so I think, showing out at like a baseball game, super cool.
That's something I've definitely grown with me, is like showing up, whether it's sports games, assemblies, like anything school related. I feel like almost as underclassmen, you're doing pretty good at it, but I kind of was in the mindset of like, I'm too good for this. I'm too cool for this. I'm not going to, that school thing, that's lame. But then
it's cool to
but
do
now
it
you go
now.
up to it. It's like, no, it's cool. It's fun. People put in a lot of work and effort into these things, and you really want to show up. And like, I would shout out to Mr. Gilsdorf. When I had his class and other teachers similar to him, they would offer extra credit if you would go to a game and like dress up and take a photo there, or go to the assembly and like really incentivize it. I'm not saying we should incentivize that with extra credit, but like even he would just every class at the beginning of class be like, here's every game this week. Here's the assembly. This is what you got to know, and go if you can. And I think that's so powerful, because I think we really need to be showing up for these things as a school, and it just makes it better. And that's what helps foster the community, the culture that we have here.
For sure.
Yeah. Okay. Well then, Mr. Reese, I'm going to ask you, do you have any questions for us as students?
Oh,
It's a tough
my
one.
turn now. Huh?
I know.
Yeah, I've got a lot of questions.
Yeah. Hit us.
Yeah. And you've spoken to a lot of this already. Why, even under construction, year after year, do we get so many area change requests to come to Bend High School? And
Are you guys area change requests?
I am.
I am too.
Yeah.
That's crazy. All three of us.
And I knew that about you, Taj.
Yeah.
I didn't know that about you guys. But what brought you to Bend High?
I think one thing that has actually been mentioned like a lot of times throughout this episode in particular was family. I have two brothers. One's a senior this year, and then my other one's in elementary school. But I came because Josiah was here, and he loved it. It was a great experience. And we have a ton of families who continue to come. Like, I'm sure my little brother will come here because he's at all the sporting events, especially when we're playing there, and he likes it. So I think the family and just seeing someone else is like, oh, that's sweet. I should go there too.
Yeah.
Me?
You? Go for it.
Well, I always knew I wanted to do the full IB diploma, so I'm happy I've done that, and that's kind of like the reason that most people say they're going here. But also, I transferred halfway through like middle school. I went to Skyview, and then I went to Pilot Butte, And a lot of my friends were going to Ben High, and I knew so many soccer people, that like older upperclassmen, and everyone just said really good things about it. And so I kind of was just like, yeah, why not? I'll go where my friends are going. A lot of them had family members kind of go there, and they were like, yeah, we're going to Ben High. It's the place to be. So I knew I wanted to do IB, but I think friends and family.
Yeah, mine was also a bit of a domino effect. I went to Realms freshman year, but then I followed suit here because a bunch of my friends went here, but they went here because of the IB program. So it all kind of led back to me. And even a couple of we all graduated from 8th grade. Some went to Ben High, some went to Realms, and then some left halfway through Realms. And I left at the end of my first year of Realms, and we all ended up here. And I'm so glad for that change. Even though one student that freshman year, he was at Ben High and he left first semester to Realms. He was like, Caden, you can't go there. You can't go there. Please stay here with me. I'm like, sorry, dude. I'm going to Ben High.
I think you made the right choice.
And I definitely made the right choice. So I'm glad for that.
Well, yeah, imagine if like we didn't area change requests. Like my brother went to Mountain View.
Like what?
And I mainly just didn't want to go to school with my brother. But I was like, me and Cooper were talking about, this is funny. We were talking about like parallel universes. Like what if him and I were sitting in the Commons together at 2 different tables, and he's like, what if we didn't know each other right now? Imagine if I never came here, or like didn't take student government my sophomore year. Like I really think my life would be so different. I wouldn't be going to school where I'm going. I wouldn't be majoring in what I'm majoring in. Like truly, Ben High.
The butterfly
effect.
effect. It's real.
And I got one more question for the seniors in this group.
Oh, gosh.
All right. I'm a big believer. Another PSA for the senior class is I want all of our students to follow their passion and their purpose.
Yeah.
Right? That's a big push of mine. And so I'd like to know, Caden and Taj, what are your plans for next year?
Yeah.
Go for it.
I'll go for it. I'm starting off with doing 2 years of COCC, and then I'm going to transfer and do 2 years at a bigger college, mainly COCC for financial purposes and scholarship and saving money. And I have a good job here, so working and saving money. And on the passion and purpose, my dad's always been a CEO and founded his own businesses, and so I've grown up in that world. I've followed suit through the business program here in DECA here, and that is by far my passion, so wanting to major in business and continue through in that field and continue a career in business is the goal. And possibly entertainment is also something I'm enjoying, clearly.
Yeah.
Clearly, you're good at it, yeah.
Thank you.
No, I'm proud of you, Caden.
Appreciate it.
Well, I'm going to University of Washington next year. Following, both my parents went there. My mom played and coached soccer there. So I've grown up being a dog, and I'm really excited about that. And I'm majoring, as we said, communications with a minor in sports management. And I don't know exactly what I'm hoping to do. I think like athletic director, sports agent, or something like that in sports. But I'm hoping to manage helping like a student manager of one of the soccer teams to help with tuition because it's not cheap, or intern with the pro women's soccer team up there because I have some connections with my mother being a legend up there. So something sports, not totally sure yet, but I've always wanted to go to Washington.
Following your passion and your purpose. I'm proud of you, Taj.
Thanks.
That's amazing. Well, for our final segment here, we have some questions on the fly that some students have submitted to ask you. It is hot seat time, even though the questions, don't worry, they're not that crazy.
Okay.
Starting off, we're each going to read 2. Lynn Mills asks, if you could be president of one country for a year, what would it be and why?
Oh, wow.
I know. Pretty broad.
Yeah.
Whoa.
You have 195 options, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
I guess probably just the United States of America.
There you go. Hometown.
Why not?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much rich history and beauty in our country, and just within the continental U.S. itself, I have a lot of patriotism, excuse me, and as evidenced by our annual Veterans Assembly, it's a passion of mine. So probably the USA.
Awesome. An anonymous student asks, what has the construction been like behind the scenes?
Ooh,
Well, that's a good question.
yeah, no, it's pretty intense. I absolutely love working with Kirby Nagelhout Construction Company.
Mm-hmm.
I love working with BBT Architects. I love working with our facilities development within the district, but it's a huge time commitment.
Totally.
But we also, I'm invested in it because I want to do it right. And the uniqueness of this build is we have all of this rich tradition and history and that long blue line concept. And how do you incorporate that into a new facility? And that's the burden that I'm really carrying. And how do you do that so that you don't lose that culture and that tradition? You know, when we step into our new gymnasium, which is going to be absolutely amazing, it's not going to be sterile. You're still going to have all of that, all of those trophies up there. You're still going to have all of those pennants up there, along with the Jumbotron, right?
Totally.
It's going to be
Yes.
awesome. And you seniors, and you won't have that experience. But
we're coming back.
Yeah, I invite all of you back, and I'll give you a personal tour.
Amazing.
Right on.
Amazing. All right, take it away. Yeah, say the names.
Abby Smith asks, what's your favorite BSH assembly moment of all time?
You know, part of my heart is in the veterans assemblies. And over the years, we've granted veterans that haven't graduated, been high school, because it's federal law now, their high school diploma. And having them come back and awarding them the high school diploma, a lot of them say that's the highlight of their life. Even serving their country and all of that. This last, Veterans Assembly, we had the opportunity to honor Don McFall, U.S. Navy SEAL, who graduated from Bend High School and unfortunately lost his life in the Panama conflict. And there's a destroyer named after him, the USS McFall, and having those sailors.
Getting to meet them. They were the nicest people ever.
That
It
was
was
cool.
so
That
cool
was
getting
really
to
cool.
like connect them to the story of McFall, because they all kind of like, they had to learn about the history, but like getting to connect them with McFall's family and the school culture, I thought that it was cool for them and cool for us.
And they said our ship and the crew on the ship, it's a lot like Bend High
Yes.
School. Just that
That's cool.
community and coming together and stuff. So they were very impressed.
I think that's my favorite assembly as well.
So
Veterans,
fun.
it's amazing.
So good. They're all so appreciative, and even like the coffee and donuts before is my favorite. They're all so nice, and just can't wait to tell you all their stories.
Well, and then the running joke is, the veterans always show up 3 hours ahead of time
Yes.
because, it means something to them.
Totally.
It means something to them. So
That's good.
Next question is from Cassidy. How long is the long blue line?
Well, 1904. 1904, Bend Senior High School started in a log cabin in Drake Park. And, it's been in different locations, but you fast forward to here, and again, this is our 117th graduating class.
And
That's
it's not done yet.
unbelievable.
I think it's going to keep growing.
Keep going.
Yeah.
And to put that into perspective, I think next year is like Summit's 25th. Right?
That's crazy.
So,
Oh, there was
yeah.
what, third?
Right there.
Yeah, barely.
Like not even. Also, shout out to us, class of 25. That has a really good. It's not class
I've
of
always thought
17,
that,
class
yeah.
of 12, class of 25.
But I was
It's
a
a good
class of
number.
1991, so that's
Oh, there you
Second
go.
class.
That's a good number too. Ooh, that sounds good.
1991.
Yes.
Oh, awesome.
Okay. From Anonymous, what would it take to bring back IB art?
IB art. Did we?
I don't know.
Or maybe if we didn't have it, bring it
bring
to the
it
table.
here.
What's it going to take to?
Probably some money and resources, I would think, and a conversation with our IB coordinator and maybe
Probably.
Mr. Hutter.
Mr. Lockwood.
Yeah,
Give me
Mr.
one
Lockwood, see if he wants to take it on.
That'd be
Wonderful.
cool. I've never heard
That
of
would be pretty cool, though.
Yeah.
No, it was speaking on that. I just IB business. I've heard word or like want of this. Is this happening? Is it a hope to happen?
It's a hope to happen right now. Again,
Okay.
we love IB.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's been a game changer for our rigor here and partly our culture of academics. We also love our very robust CTE programs. And there's an idea out there of IBCP. And right now, we currently have the IBDP, the diploma program. And there's also an IBCP program, which is the careers program. which basically ties together IB and our CTE programs.
Well, that's actually really cool.
Yeah, it's phenomenal, but it's also very expensive.
Yeah.
Right.
Very expensive, and money's tight right now, and staffing's tight, and we need another IB CP coordinator. We have a DP coordinator, but it's another lift for a staff member.
That'd be cool.
But hopefully in the next 3 years, we'll get the redesign done here. It's going to be amazing, and we'll implement the IB careers program. And then I'm going to officially retire
Whoa.
Wow.
and turn it over to the next generation of Lava Bears.
Okay, that's pretty
Nice.
crazy.
Yeah.
Mic drop.
You're finishing strong.
Then I'm out.
Yep, I'm going to finish strong, and I want to see this redesign through because it means something to me to, again, make sure that rich history doesn't die on my watch.
That's awesome.
Love
That's
it.
really cool.
Super cool. All right. Last question from Kai. How do you define success for our school?
Success to me is, you look at our youth truth data, both staff and students, and it's off the chart in regards to students feeling, connected and again, belonging and engaging, and thinking about our school culture in a positive way. And those relationships are so meaningful, and that's how I judge success. Test scores, you look at our IB scores, they're off the chart, and something to be proud of. But again, the success to me is students that, graduate from here, follow their passion and their purpose, and have a rewarding experience within our school community. To me, that's success.
That's amazing. Well, I always have one final question that I ask the teacher faculty. Before I get to it, do we have any final topics, thoughts, questions, ideas before we wrap up this conversation?
I'm good. Anything?
No?
I think we've covered a
Okay.
lot.
We kind of covered this question a little bit earlier, but maybe we can just restate it a little bit. Is if you can give one final piece of advice to the graduating class of 2025, what would it be?
Finish strong and follow your passion and your purpose.
Boom.
Love it.
Okay, well, without further ado, thank you for tuning into the BSH Brief. Huge shout out to Mr. Reese for sharing their story, and to our student guests for holding it down. Catch us next week with a new episode, new guests, and the same Lava Bear energy. Until next time, stay proud, stay classy, and stay brief, Ben High. That's a wrap, everybody. Good job.
Woo!
Whoa.